Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. I'm Dr. Ruth Anderson, and here's Teri Angel here with Enlightened World Network. We bring you a guided meditation every day of the year. And on Sundays, we bring a silent meditation. Now, it's a little different because Teri plays some beautiful music and she and I go behind the scenes. We meditate together. We invite you to meditate along with us. And then after 25 minutes or so, we come back on and we share with you all the messages that Spirit shared with us. So thank you for being here, and just settle in, have a beautiful meditation, and we'll come back in about 25 minutes. Thank you. Okay, there we go.
Here we are.
So this is always an interesting one because we know that there are people that listen to our shows that do not always believe in the things that we're saying, and that's okay. Teri and I have had interesting lives that have led us to the point of believing in some things that some folks aren't comfortable with, like the fact that there are other dimensions, the fact that there are other beings from other places that we can't see here in the physical realm. And that's where we spent time today. Teri, would you like to introduce or discuss the Intergalactic Council?
Oh my goodness. Yes, we do. We have help. And this is one thing that I've known my whole life pretty much, that there is help. There's angels, there's guides, and some of those guides are extraterrestrial. And they've come to be known as the Galactic Council. And Ruth and I have been meeting in the boardroom with this Galactic Council for a while now, and just getting information. We get downloads. Today, it was kind of like a business meeting almost. We had our planners there, and we saw who was sitting around the table, and it did include Jesus. It included Divine Mother and the angels and ascended masters. And we just were in awe at being at that table. And like every time that I go to that, we call it the boardroom. Every time I go to the boardroom, I'm like, I was invited here. I'm supposed to be here. I'm not an eavesdropper, but it is something where we get a lot of guidance and are shown sometimes what to work on. You know, when Ruth and I go off on a tangent, it's not just because, we're bored. We get instructions, and we get those helpers that say, okay, look at this, take a deeper look at this. And so we do. And so that's kind of where we were today, just sitting around this table. And there was an air of immediacy, an air of, I almost want to say urgency, but it's something that's really important right now for us all to pay attention to. And Ruth, I know that it's been a rough year, as it has for many.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's like, okay, where are we right now in this now moment? And what are we going to do? What are the choices we're going to make going forward? So this is why we listen to our guides. We listen because sometimes we're wrapped up in this human experience, and we do need that little bit of just wording to get us moving in a different direction. And Ruth, I love that we were across the table from each other, so we could look at each other and just really have that understanding that we're both getting this. We're both getting the same message. I love how that works. It's almost like we're in each other's heads when we sit together, whether we're physically together or together here on the Zoom call.
Right. Well, the message that Teri had received last night is, it is time. The message we received this morning at the Galactic table was, the time is now. So the messages are coming in similarly, same messages. And there was a piece of stay right here, right now, like be focused on your spirituality. If you work with the guides, hang in there with the guides. We're receiving information right now that is pretty crucial. And it's crucial for us, I believe, for humanity, not just for us individually, but for humanity. And the words, don't get complacent. So really important that you all stay focused on your spiritual walk right now. And a piece of, you can't wait for somebody else to do this. This is us.
It is. And, Ruth, like I mentioned when we were talking, I heard that over 2 years ago, just before I started out on the journey that I'm on. And it was like, you can't just sit on the sidelines anymore. We can't be that complacent that we're going to sit back and wait for somebody else to do it. It takes all of us. There's that cliche, it takes a village, it takes a world, all of us working together to make changes.
Right. And then we saw Christ move to the head of the table. And it was so interesting because when he moved to the head of the table and his message to us was that change only comes through love, and that our only job is to love. And when he said that, the day timers were closed. It was like, there's no reason to plan because all I have to do is love. And the other interesting thing was that some of the folks left the table.
Mm-hmm.
So Teri, do you want to share your insights on that part?
Yeah. There are some who are still not ready to receive that love or give from their hearts because they are not in touch with it. And when we are surrounded by people who are not ready for that love or ready to give or receive, it does affect us. Our energy affects each other. And one thing that I just recently have experienced is we can rewrite our stories. We can, if we, something happened to us, a tragedy, a trauma, and it really, stuck inside of us as a low vibration, we can change the energy of what we're experiencing now in the now moment. And so I rewrote, and part of my rewriting said, I am the embodiment of Christ. So I'm taking on that energy and going into only love is real. Only love is real. And that's what Christ was sharing with us at the table today, that, there's only love. All this other stuff, the experiences we go through, they're for us to come to that realization and for our soul growth to know that there is only love. So yeah, if you're listening and you find yourself one of those people that have found it hard to open up your heart, because I get that. I get when we've had experiences and they were like not great experiences, it's kind of hard to open back up again. But if you're one of those people that are around somebody who is not willing to even look at it, is that affecting you? And the only job you have, which we were told today, the only job you have is to love. Just love them. And if they move away from your energy, that's because they can't get in alignment with it. And that's okay. No judgment. Just say, I love you. And we can love people from a distance. We can send love to anybody at any time.
Well, and along with that, the only job is to love, but change comes through love.
Yeah. Yeah. And some of that change may be that you're disassociated with some people. And that's perfect. That's okay. Everything is working perfectly. We just sometimes see it as a challenge or a struggle, but it's really not. If we change our perspective and say, this is because of the love in my heart, I'm loving, and therefore there's going to be change.
Well, and sometimes it's a matter of really loving somebody else, and then they can change because they're feeling loved. Once they change, then your relationship with them changes and totally new perspectives. So yeah, beautiful message today, Teri.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, what you were just saying is when we do love and when we know we're seen, that's so important, to be seen and acknowledged for who we are. And, we can be out there all day long sharing messages of love. But when somebody says, I see you, I receive that love, what a difference it makes. It totally changes everything, doesn't it?
It does. Absolutely.
Let's change the world. I'm all for that.
Yes. I'm just seeing if there was anything else. I just want to thank Teri for doing this walk with me. These weekly, bi-weekly meditations have meant the world to me. And there has been so much growth for me personally in these times together. And I hope that you as viewers have been able to experience growth just from watching other people grow, knowing that it's safe to grow. And it is safe for you to grow here at Enlightened World Network, because that's all we're trying to do, is to experience the things that we're to experience so we can have the most growth in this lifetime. So thank you, Teri. So much love to each and every one of you. And we will see you here soon at Enlightened World Network.